What is going on, guys? So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a raw video on why you aren't able to lose fat. So if you're someone that struggles to lose fat and you just struggle to keep it off, then stick around for this video because it may just help. And if you're new to the channel, then may not know who I am, but here's a quick fix: just hit that subscribe button. So my name is Neil. I've been a fat loss coach for over 10 years, and I've helped a lot of guys lose a lot of fat and transform their physiques. Now, I've also transformed my physique numerous of times, so I understand what it takes to lose the fat and why majority of people don't. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what is your why? Why do you want to lose fat? Now, there are two words that get thrown around in the fitness industry, and that is motivation and discipline. So a lot of people say that you don't need motivation, you just need discipline. But the thing is, I disagree. In my opinion, you need both, because when motivation is low, then you start to rely on discipline more. But when motivation is high, you don't need discipline as much. So when you get started, you rely more on motivation, and that is your why. You need to figure out what that thing is burning inside of you, making you want to lose that fat. So that could be, you got neglected at school for being overweight. People make fun of you for being overweight. You don't get attention from females, a lot of women. Or you're just really unhealthy and you need to lose that fat, like you have no choice. It's for your own health. So figure out what is your why. Now, I knew what my why was when I wanted to build a great physique. So I used to get bullied a lot at school, and I didn't get any attention from women. So poor me. But that was my why. That really gave me the motivation to get started. And still to this day, I still keep that as my why. So even when I'm feeling low on some days, that's still in my head. And even though nowadays I rely more on discipline, I still, that discipline it's not always 100%. So that's when I always think about those times, and that's my motivation to keep going. So figure out what is your why. Once you figured out your why and you have a strong enough why, that's when you're going to start. That's when you're going to get started. You're going to have that motivation to start. And once you have that motivation to start, then it becomes more about discipline. Are you disciplined enough to keep those good habits? Because this is where most people up. So they start their fitness journey, the first few weeks, but then they just stop. They get bored, their motivation just drops, and they give up. But if you want to lose fat and keep it off forever, you have to then have discipline. And this is where self-control comes in. A lot of people go chasing that dopamine, that instant gratification. Don't be one of those people, because you're not going to get anywhere. To lose fat, you don't want to chase dopamine, because then you're going to end up eating whatever you want. The foods that make you feel good, do the things that make you feel good in the short term. But in the long term, they're not going to help at all. And you're not going to get the results that you want. So don't go chasing that dopamine, that instant gratification. Have delayed gratification and have good self-control with yourself. And also believe in yourself. So envision what you want to look like and believe that you can do it. This is one thing that I always knew I could do, because for me, I had a picture of what I wanted to look like, and that guy was Ziz. So he kind of had my ideal physique, and, he got a lot of attention whenever he went out, from guys, from girls. As soon as he walked into a room, he had that presence, and that's what I wanted. So that's where my motivation really came from. But you want to have that you want to vision that for yourself. You want to have a picture of what you will look like, your end result. And you need to believe that you can get there. If you don't believe it, then you're going to achieve it, because, you're always going to think, oh, I can't get there, and you're going to end up giving up. So envision what you want to look like, have a picture of what you want to look like, and just, keep every day, just work towards that vision. So, and that's where you're going to have self-control, because you're always going to picture what you want to look like. You're always going to have that picture. So don't give in to dopamine, have delayed gratification, and you'll start being on your way. And also just have the patience, because it took you a long time to get to where you are now. So if it took you 5 years, then don't expect to get the results within 3 months. You need to have patience. Like, a lot of people nowadays, they don't have patience. They want quick results. Like, they think if they're 50 to 100 pounds overweight, then in the next 3 to 6 months, they can lose all of that. But that's not reality. If it took you a long time to get there because of your bad habits, then it's going to take you some time to lose all of it. So don't expect quick results. Just take your time, be patient. It's not a race. Like, just make sure you're consistent with the process, because the faster you want results, the less consistent you'll be. And for me, consistency is the most important thing. It's easy to lose the fat. In my opinion, it's easy to lose the fat, but to lose it and to keep it off is a whole different ball game. Like, to keep it off, you have to have consistency over your entire life. Once you get down to 15% body fat, maybe 10% body fat, then it's just consistency to keep that body fat percentage. So for me, you have to have that consistency, and you have to have the patience. Don't think that the results are going to come quickly. Always believe that you can get there, but don't have this unrealistic expectation of yourself that you can achieve it very quickly within 6 months to a year. Give yourself some time, because if you have this unrealistic expectation and you don't get there, again, you're going to end up giving up. So have that realistic expectation for yourself, and just have some self-respect. So the thing is that people that, give into this dopamine, this instant gratification, for me, they don't have self-respect. They're not respecting themselves, because if they were, then they'll know that what they're doing is detrimental to their health, and they'll start changing their habits. So they'll start saying no to the things that are keeping them away from their goal. But instead, they just say yes to everyone and everything, and they're really saying no to themselves, and that's where they lose their self-respect. So have accountability and self-respect. And the thing is, all of these habits have developed over time. So to then reverse those bad habits and turn them into good habits, it's going to take a monumental effort, and it's going to take time as well. If you want to do it all quickly, then you can, but it's going to be really hard. So what you do is just do it step by step. So change one habit at a time, and then it just becomes easy. If you try and do it all at once, it's just super difficult. And again, it's not sustainable. So you're just going to give up. So change one habit at a time. If like sleep, your diet, your training, do one thing slowly. If you're not training, then add training into your schedule. Every 2 to 3 days, have a training session. And then once you've adopted that habit, then start changing your diet. Increase the amount of protein, reduce the quantities. It's not too difficult if you take it step by step. But most people want to do everything at once, and they don't end up getting anywhere. So do everything step by step. And also remember, calories add up over time. So even if you're eating like small things, you're snacking on things, remember those calories add up. So the best thing to do is to track them. For me, if you're not tracking, you're slacking. If you want to get good results and you want to develop that physique, you have to track data. It's like if you want to build a business. If you don't see people that are millionaires, billionaires having these massive businesses, but they're not tracking any data. They're always constantly tracking their income, their expenses. They're tracking every single bit. So it's the same when it goes for building your body. If you want to have a good body, a good physique, you lose the fat, you need to track everything. So, and the best way, if you want to lose fat, a good way is to look at alternatives for foods. So if you're having foods with high calories, then look for better alternatives with lower calories. And one more thing is that cardio versus weight training. So a lot of people emphasize too much on cardio. They want to burn the fat, but remember, calories, if you want to burn calories, and primarily comes from your diet. So work on your diet and weight train alongside, because then you're going to build muscle mass, burn more fat, and develop a much better physique. So guys, I hope this raw video helps you, and you understand the mentality behind how, if you want to lose fat, what it takes, and why you really aren't able to lose it if you're in this situation. So I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next video.